And with that, welcome to the Stewardship Network's monthly webcast. My name is Rob Luzinski, and I'm the community coordinator at the Stewardship Network. First, we'd like to tell you a little bit about us. TSN is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with an award-winning history of 20 plus years. We are now serving 30 plus place-based TSN member communities and fiscally sponsored projects across the Great Lakes and across the country. And in addition to that, many TSN programs, like the one you're all watching today, are available to everyone. So we encourage you to tune in on the second Wednesday of the month in the Eastern Time Zone's noon hour to join us for the monthly webcast series. Our mission, we exist to connect, equip, and mobilize nature's caretakers. And I want to focus a little bit on one of those pillars, mobilize, because as many of you know, it would have been hard to miss. We have been deep in the midst of one of our most treasured programs at the Stewardship Network for the last few months, the Stewardship Network Spring Challenge 2026. So since April 8th and going all the way till June 30th, we have been encouraging folks to do more together. And the program has finally concluded, so we want to tell you a little bit about the background of the program and then celebrate some of the wins from this year. So first, for an overview, the program was built to increase the impact and awareness of collaborative stewardship activities through peer motivation since 2008. TSN member communities, stewardship professionals, and volunteers are all meaningfully involved in the program. And it's a celebration of what's already happening and a rallying cry to join in so we can do more together. Now, a fair warning as we talk about the making of a monster. From the very beginning, reporting this year was heavy, consistent, and running above benchmarks. With days to go, it became clear that we were going to sail past our previous records. And with hours to go, one of our largest member communities submitted their verified numbers and things got a little wild. So now we will reveal, the big numbers that we all accomplished. But first, I have to shout out Alex Florian of the Southwest by Southwest Corner SISMA and his little turtle friend that he has on his hat. That was one of the wonderful photos that was submitted during this year's Spring Challenge. 2026 program totals, you can see it on the right-hand side, but over 105,000 total hours. That is an 85% increase from 2025 and a new record for the program. We also had almost 19,000 total participants, which is also a new record, an incredible amount of people and individuals that were a part of the program this year. And with all of those hours, we were able to document 3.6 million total work hour value from all of this work that was done in the Spring Challenge. And that is also a new record. Absolutely incredible. I cannot overstate how excited we are. It's almost a little scary to get a number that big. You're like, oh, could that really be real? But we did the due diligence and you all did the work. And we are extremely proud to share that we have shattered all these records and we could not have done it without you. So now talking a little bit about the program since 2008. So we have had a total of 263 total hours of stewardship in that time. We have had 89,878 total participants during that time and 17.2 million in work hour value documented since 2008. Incredible numbers. We're so happy about this program and we hope that it can continue far into the future and we will watch these numbers continue to grow over the years. So thank you again for everyone that has been a part of it in the past and the present, and all of you that hope to join in the future. Now, of course, it's time to share some of our honors. So it's a privilege to celebrate every action, every report, every story, all season long. We want to do that with everybody. You see that on our social media. You see that in our email, messages that we send to our lists. And when do more becomes do most, we happily tip our hat to the overachievers. Of course, we want to, give credit where it's due for some of the folks that are doing that really massive amounts of work out in the field. And amongst our MCs, there remains a long-standing tradition of friendly competition. We'll always support peer-to-peer inspiration in whatever shape it takes. So friendly competition, or if you just want to be the best for your own sake, whatever you want to do, we love it because we love the energy and we are very excited to share all of the honorees this year. So first, we have the Community Cup. So this is awarded to the TSN member community reporting the most total stewardship hours throughout the program. And we are very excited to announce that the Greater Baltimore Wilderness Coalition has come through and won the Community Cup this year. Congratulations. Greater Baltimore Wilderness Coalition is one of our newer member communities, and we're really excited to have them participate in the challenge more than ever this year. It was really incredible, the numbers that they were able to put together for us. And I also want to shout out some of our runner-ups. So in second place, we had the Grand Raisin Conservation Community. And in third place, we have the West Michigan Conservation Network. Next, we have the Root Cup. So this cup is awarded to the organization reporting the most total pounds of invasive species removed. We are proud to say that the West Michigan Conservation Network has won this year's Root Cup. Congratulations to West Michigan Conservation Network. We know all the great work you do in all of the counties that you service in West Michigan and all the great work that your partners do to make that happen. And we want to shout out some of our runner-ups once again. So Huron Arbor Cluster for coming in second place. Congratulations. And another one of our newer member communities, the Greater Cincinnati Stewardship Collaborative, came in at third place. So congratulations for that. Next, we have the Teacher Cup. So this is awarded to the organization reporting the most total education and advocacy hours throughout the challenge. And we are excited to announce that the Grand Raisin Conservation Community has won the Teacher Cup this year. We are so excited about that. Grand Raisin Conservation Community and their partners really have a strong emphasis on the education and advocacy component of stewardship, and this is just a testament to the great work that they do. I'd also like to shout out once again runner-ups. So in second place, we have the Greater Baltimore Wilderness Coalition, and in third place, we have the Cake SISMA. So congratulations to both the winner and our runner-ups. Now we have the Partner Cup. So this is awarded to the organization reporting the most total stewardship hours from outside of our network family, so outside of our TSN member communities. And this may be a familiar name for folks that have been following this one, but Milwaukee Riverkeeper, congratulations. You are absolutely doing incredible amounts of work in your region to support healthy native ecosystems, and we are proud to share this honor with you. Congratulations on winning the Partner Cup. And we would like to shout out our runner-ups once again, Toronto Nature Stewards, who I believe this was their first time being a part of the Spring Challenge this year. So thank you so much for your submission. And in third place, we have the Greening of Detroit. So congratulations to one of our treasured local partners in the region. And yeah, so happy to celebrate all of you and the great work that you've done throughout the Spring Challenge. Now we have the Inspiration Cup. This is awarded to the organization with the most consistent reporting and piles of images to inspire us all. All these great photos we use to promote the challenge are all submissions from you all, documenting the great work that you do. And once again, this might be a familiar name for you all, but the Lake St. Clair SISMA, congratulations to you all for winning the Inspiration Cup once again. This cup was actually named, or created, inspired by the Lake St. Clair SISMA, just because they had so many wonderful photos and stories to share with us. And the really exciting thing is that I do believe that this Inspiration Cup, along with Lake St. Clair SISMA and other folks that have submitted their stories and photos, have inspired other people to do so. We have seen more photos and stories getting submitted over the years, and that's really wonderful for us because we love to share those and we love to show the human side of this stuff, the stories of stewardship that really humanize the work that we're all doing. So thank you all for everything that you do in supporting the Spring Challenge with your stories and photos. The runner-ups for this cup were the Grand Raisin Conservation Community in second place and the Huron Arbor Cluster in third place. So thank you all for your contributions once again. And now we have the Solo Cup. So this is awarded to the unaffiliated individual or family reporting the most total stewardship hours. And we are excited to announce one of our friends of the network, John and Susan C., have won the Solo Cup this year. Congratulations. We are so happy for you. And shout out to Katie F., who came in second place, and Shirley M., that came in third place. We love this cup because it really does tell you that it's important, or it shares the story of folks that are individually out there and just doing their thing, private landowners that are out there in ecosystems, regardless of the work that's going on around them. And we love that because we hope that the individuals feel like they're a bigger part of this stewardship movement by submitting to this challenge and all contributing to this big number that we celebrate together. I now would like to share a little quote from our winners that we think really demonstrates some of the value of the program, and we're just excited to share it with you. When people start thinking about their yards and gardens as habitat, they begin to take ownership of making them more habitable for wildlife. People and nature both win. Our work continues, and we're excited to add our hours of activities that support environmental stewardship to the 2026 TSN Spring Challenge. Thank you so much, John and Susan, for your kind words. That is wonderful, and that's a great picture of the two of them out in the field doing some great work. Thank you, and thank you all again for sharing your stories and quotes with us. They really mean a lot, and they help us to tell the story of the program in a much stronger way. Oops, sorry. And with that, thank you for making this the most successful spring challenge yet in the Stewardship Network history. You see all these photos of people out in the field doing incredible work to support healthy native ecosystems in their communities. We simply could not do this program without you. So thank you very much for being a part of it. I also have to shout out our TSN staff, particularly Rachel Muley, but also everyone in the staff that is a part of making the challenge possible. It is not a small amount of work to make it happen, and it is really great that we have great staff to be able to make it happen. And we also want to shout out our Boost Prize donors, because without your prizes, we wouldn't have those little bits of inspiration to try to have you submit your hours early and often on a weekly basis. And so thank you to everybody, large and small, that was a part of making this challenge the best year yet. Congratulations. And with that, I would love to introduce Susan Bryan, who is our guest this month for the webcast. She is Rain Garden Coordinator with the Washtenaw County Water Resources Commissioner's Office. And today's presentation is Rain Gardens, the Tricky, the Watery, and the Inspiring. So Susan, you can go ahead and share your screen and get started whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much, Rob. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. And I am seeing it. It looks great.
Great. Wonderful. So today I had a few choices about what I could talk about. We could do how to build a rain garden, but I feel like maybe a lot of you already know that, or we're going to put resources in the chat so you can learn. We could talk about more technical issues with rain gardens, but I kind of thought that you all would be interested in not the program details, but the meta, like why is the program structured this way? Because you might also be answering that question, okay, I need to get people to do this thing, like something else, maybe not a rain garden, maybe something else. And what are some ideas about how to do that? So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I work for Washtenaw County Water Resources Commissioner's Office, which is local government. It's county government. We used to be known as the Drain Commissioner, but Janice Bobrin back in the day changed our emphasis, so it's more environmental stewardship. Also, we're in charge of implementing the Clean Water Act locally, so that's why we do this work. I'm a landscape architect, and I've done a lot of residential garden design and then also public rain gardens, but now I really focus on teaching the Master Rain Gardener class and convincing other people to build rain gardens. This is our office. We do all sorts of stuff, compliance, but then education and outreach. We have the stormwater rules for new development for most of the communities within our county, although that's complicated. And now materials management, used to be known as solid waste, is under our purview as well. And Gretchen Driscoll is our new elected official, like a year ago. Okay, so one of the jewels of my program is the Master Rain Gardener class. And before going any further, you should take it. It's amazing. You can do it on demand anytime. It's online. In the spring, we teach a in-person class, although we're thinking about maybe making it fall. And then live online, myself and a whole coalition of other amazing teachers in the Metro Detroit region get together and we teach it live. People make friends. We put you in small groups. It's a good time. So feel free to go to masterraingardener.org. You can hear all about it. And actually, a lot of those partners also teach Master Rain Gardener classes locally in person. So maybe in your area, you can also teach one, or you can also take one. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking today. Icebreaker. Okay, I was going to say, have you seen a rain garden sign? But you know what I really want to know is, do you want to build a rain garden, or would you rather convince your neighbor to? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a lot less work. You can just say in the chat, which one would you rather do? It's a false dichotomy. I'll just cut to the chase. I'll talk about my program. Like, what's the goal? What are we trying to do? Some of the results. Number 3, I want to emphasize that building a rain garden is hard. It's a big project. It's not a small ask. So how do we get people to do this? We might see some pretty rain gardens, and then really I want you all to think about in your life, for whatever topic, doesn't have to be an environmental thing, how have you started a new thing, like started something new where you tried something new, or you convinced someone else that they should try something new? And how did that go? Like, I want anecdotes at the end. So think about that while we're talking. All right, so my program goal, this is not what I tell other people because it's super boring sounding, is to make infiltration, like using plants, just the norm for landscaping within the county. And counties, where I have a jurisdiction, it's just normal. Like when people plant something, they think, how can I get the water to go there? When they hire a landscaper, the landscaper says, okay, well, where should we put the water? How, where can we get it to soak in? It's just normal. And more specifically, this is the only thing I count getting rain gardens built. How many rain gardens got built this year? Everything else is in support of that. Why? Because of this. This is gross. No, we're Michiganders. We don't want this. No, we're going to build a rain garden. If you don't make it to the end of the webcast, this is skip ahead to the answer. How do you get someone to build a rain garden? You do it yourself, and you build a beautiful rain garden, and then your neighbors are all jealous, and then they're like, ooh, I could do that. They see that you can do it. They start Googling, they take a class, maybe they just get the handbook, they do it too. So it's not really, so you can't really convince someone else to do it unless you do it too. That's really, you have to put your money where your mouth is. That's really the thing. Here's a beautiful rain garden Denise held, Southeast Ann Arbor, making it happen. This is like 6 or 7 years after she built it. So every year it got more and more beautiful. When I took this photo that summer, I kept getting calls. Like people would be like, have you seen this rain garden? It's so beautiful. Yep, I've seen it. Like, she's great. So Denise, walking the talk. All right, so I'm going to take you through this particular rain garden just so you can see like how much work it is. Like, what are we asking people to do? It's big. It's a lot of work. Here is a rain garden built by rain gardener Stephen Cronenberg. We're going to go back to the beginning now. This is before picture. You can see his yard is kind of ripped up because he had some utility work done, but this is before. And actually he had some problems. You can see the downspout here is putting water right in front of his front door. It's ripping up his concrete driveway, and it's creating a huge ice patch, which, that's not great. So what to do? Well, first thing is we need this pipe to go out farther into the yard, and there's concrete in the way. So then suddenly you're breaking up concrete. So his daughter, I don't know how effective she was. So he brings in his teenage sons. They start taking out concrete so that he can put the pipe underneath that concrete. So then digging a trench, it rained while they dug the trench. If you know anything about a rain garden, usually you do an infiltration test. You dig a hole, see how long, fill it with water, see how long it takes to soak in. Their infiltration rate was never. A few days later, it would just rain again and it hadn't soaked in. It's okay. This rain garden's going to be fine. I'm not worried. The pipe needs to be at the right level. This is not always true, but they had to rebuild the porch. And he wanted the beautiful little retaining wall. It's not necessary, but, make it so it look nicer. So there's that. And the pickaxes were involved. Look at the clay. You can see the like flaky clay in there. And here it is all graded. And I want to point out, if this is your first exposure to rain gardens, that, okay, so the pipe, the water goes, I hope you can see my cursor, the water goes underground in that pipe that you saw, into this pop-up right here. And this is the first little rice paddy pool of water. Then it overflows into the second little rice paddy pool of water, overflows into the third little rice paddy pool of water, and then there's an outlet. So that's sophisticated rain garden design. And there it is, all done, all planted. This is a moment when it's nice to give people some honor and glory, because that was so much work. And look how tiny those plants are, and there's so much mulch. Like, this might be a moment when they question their life choices. No, this is great. You know why? Because it's going to look like this. It's so pretty. Actually, this particular house, it's turned over now. It's a new owner, and the new owner loves the rain garden, and it still looks beautiful. Because it's so nicely bordered, I think. So they take care of it, and it's working great. But that was a lot of work. I mean, you could use less shovels, more like equipment, but it's still a ton of work. Oh, goodness. I'm not sure why this slide looks like that, but just in case you're came to this presentation thinking you're going to learn how to build a rain garden, I just wanted to mention the most important rule, which is stay 10 feet away from the house. If you have water in your basement, your new rule is stay 15 feet away from your house. That's the most important thing. The next most important thing is number 3. The water should only be a puddle. Like, it should only pool 3 inches deep. It's not a pond, it's a puddle. So keep that in mind. All right, so in order to help all this happen, my program has a bunch of things that we do to emphasize the benefits and remove the barriers. This is behavior change language. Remove the barriers so that they can do the thing. That was the Master Rain Gardener class. We also give visits to folks and give them advice about where to put this rain garden, how to get the water there, what plants to plant. I saw Matt Connors is here. There he is, doing a consultation. Love it. We do garden tours so that people can see that other people did it. So powerful. I'm there hosting, but I really don't talk. It's the homeowner that tells the whole story. It's amazing. And then giving a chance for volunteers to provide leadership, like giving advice to new new rain gardeners, hosting tours, providing plants and plant swaps, those sorts of things, all those sorts of things. And then we have a Master Rain Gardener Facebook group, which is a very friendly little corner of the internet. It's lovely. Okay, so last year, 91 rain gardens got built. Woot, woot. Only to be surpassed by the pandemic year was 93. We have never surpassed that, but 91 rain gardens. So now we're more than 2,000. This slide, there's a lot on here, but what I want to show is that the light pink is, if we design them in-house, that's how many rain gardens would be built. But the orange are all these people taking the Master Rain Gardener class, getting educated, and then building themselves. So I would never be able to build 91 rain gardens a year for the past 15 years. That's impossible. But by deputizing other people, making it happen. And they're built all over this is Washtenaw County. They're built all over the county. Oh, actually, Rob, if you wouldn't mind putting the link to the map in the chat, that'd be perfect right about now. You can see where people are building rain gardens, zooming into the Ann Arbor Ypsilanti area, because that was a lot of dots. And even zooming in a little bit more, you can almost see, like, I know which dot started first, and then you can see in a neighborhood, that person was a game changer. And then people all around them started building rain gardens. Yeah, so getting on the map, that helps me count too, which is a great thing. I might be the person who enjoys the map the most, I would say. You can go in and you can zoom in and you can see photos of other people's gardens. It's amazing, super fun. Now we're actually more than 2,500 rain gardens through the program. And then probably, and that's all the partners in the Metro Detroit area, and including landscapers who also are amazing deputies for building rain gardens. Oh, and then the Master Rain Gardener class is actually spread to other communities throughout the Midwest. So if you move to Cincinnati, you can take the Master Rain Gardener class there, and they do a great job. Okay, so how, how does this happen? Well, a lot of trial and error, like trying new things, seeing if it works. Some things don't, some things do. And then also, I've really been helped by having a philosophical basis in volunteer management best practices, and then also social marketing, which is what applied behavior change is called. It's kind of an unfortunate title, social marketing, because it sounds like something else. But what it is behavior change for the public good. So also, this is often used in public health for like smoking cessation programs, stuff like that. So here's a bunch of, I'll have this up at the end if you don't get a chance to take a photo. These are all great. These are all great resources for thinking about how to get other people to do something. And in practice, I just try something and then I look for what works. I look for the spark. I look for like what makes people excited, what actually makes them act. So that's something that I follow because it's just hard. There's weeks of work involved. How do you even get people to do this? All right. Okay, so we are social creatures and we see what other people do and we are inspired by that. Just like Dr. Seuss and the Sneetches and the star-bellied Sneetches and the non-star-bellied Sneetches. We're just like that. So when Graciela Rubalclava builds a gorgeous rain garden, and look at those lines. She's an artist. It just like fits nicely into her landscape. Other people follow. Denise Held, keeping it real. So in general, this is the process. Number one, lead by example. And then this is hard. Just wait. Just wait. Wait for your teachable moment because not everyone's ready to take on a huge landscaping project. They're just not. It's not necessarily the time in life. Life happens. Maybe they're taking care of their elderly parents or they're volunteering at some other worthy cause, like a women's shelter, something like that. They have small children. There are lots of reasons why they just don't, it's not a good time. But when it is a good time and it is a teachable moment, then anything that you can do to make it easy, convenient, and fun, that's going to make it happen. And then this is an essential piece, and I learned this over and over again, is building community, how important that is. Yeah, that's how things happen. And then you end up building community, and then you have more easy, convenient, and fun stuff, which makes it more community minded. And then you go back and those people lead by example, and it just, circle of life here. So Lori Sprague built in a gorgeous rain garden in Dexter. She looks so happy, probably because she got her teenage kids to dig that rain garden. Always a good thing. Shar Tabarazzi in Wayne County. That used to be the ugliest ditch. Now it's gorgeous. Good job, Shar. Alicia Davis. This is actually the #1 photo. University of Michigan did a survey. And one of them was which garden's the prettiest, basically. This is #1. I think it's pretty interesting because that's a lot of garden space. It's not like one tiny little garden and a bunch of lawn. It's like that's a pretty big rain garden. And then in those beautiful rain gardens, you have to have a sign. Without a sign, no one knows it's a rain garden and they don't know to ask you the questions. Because the only person who knows it's a teachable moment is that neighbor. And when they're ready, like they see your sign, they see your t-shirt, they're going to start asking you questions or they're just going to Google. And otherwise, they don't know what to Google. Yeah. Okay. Basically, people will come to you when the time is right. This is my neighbor. They have not come to me yet. I'm going to start putting rain garden postcards in there just once a year. Put a rain garden postcard in their mailbox because this ice could totally be solved by, you can see the water from their downspout goes to the sidewalk. They're out there chipping ice. It's a hazard. It's not great. That could be a hedge rain garden. but they haven't asked yet. It's not quite the right time. Yeah, people will come to you. Oh, my slides have stopped. That's exciting. Hold on, let me. I'm gonna try. Hmm. Well, that's interesting. Um, Lisa says, wait for it. Good point. I love it. Just because I'm brave, I just refreshed my screen, so we'll see how this goes. All right, well, I have it up. It won't be in presentation mode, but this is what we have. All right. Um, okay, so back to simple, convenient, and fun. How to make it simple. Building a rain garden actually is pretty complicated. There's a lot of decisions to make, how to help people along so they don't get stuck in those decision making. Um, Points, make it simple. There's so many things that are complicated about native plants. So many things. The list is long. Do I hand them a spreadsheet? Okay, I do actually hand them a spreadsheet. But when we visit them, we don't just hand them the spreadsheet. We say, you want something short and you like lavender. So you should plant these two plants, Virginia waterleaf and wild geranium. Full stop. If they want to make it, do a deeper dive, they can. But especially plant selection there's so many choices and people can get paralyzed by that. Make it convenient. This world is so much better than it used to be. Now we have the Washtenaw County Conservation District Native Plant Expo. Amazing. And then there's also now at the expo, there were 20 native plant nurseries. When I first started this job, there was one in Ann Arbor, one native plant nursery, and it was tiny. Now there's 20. That's amazing. So making it more convenient is a great thing. Making it fun. Here's Maureen having I wonder if I can get this to be, oh yeah, from the current slide. Maureen she actually had a little like cider and donut grand opening for her rain garden, which is great. I love that. And here's Leslie Walters enjoying her rain garden. But visiting other rain gardens is also super fun. But celebrating the how it celebrating getting it done, because like that moment that I pointed out where people have just planted, but it doesn't look like this yet. They need a little encouragement that this is going to be great. This is going to be, and in the meantime, it's going to be fun. So celebrating those milestones. Also cookies. Would any of these rain gardens be built if we didn't bring cookies to these events? No, they would not. It's all about cookies. All right, and making that community. And cookies helps with making community, bringing people together who are interested in a particular topic, either at a pop-up rain garden tour or in the Master Rain Gardener Facebook group. Creating that community is super important. And I feel like my job is really hostess, sort of old-fashioned hostess, in that I try to make people feel like you're in the right place. You belong here. This is my job. And you might have other ideas about how to be welcoming and inclusive in your space. Oh yeah, and I know this because I've screwed it up. Look at there in 2018. I mean, other things happened that year, but it is the year that I forgot to, during class, I always go all the way around the room. Everyone introduces themselves and their project, and it gives people a way to connect because they know maybe where they could help or where they can talk about similar problems, that kind of thing. And I didn't mean to test it. I just forgot. And the numbers were not as good that year. Good to know. Like for instance, uh, because you might have other subjects in your life that you want to start doing something new. Like maybe you want to, learn how to invest your retirement money. Maybe you want to eat more vegetables. All this stuff that like we try to get ourselves to do, new habits to take on. How do you get yourself to do that? One way is to join a community that's doing that. Like I know when I go to exercise at the Y, it helps me so much to have a community that will buoy me along, and I have an appointment, and so I need to go. All those ways that we can change our habits can be implemented in this way too. I just want to give a shout out to Seeds to Community, which does exactly that. And it's been a game changer where Seeds to Community, they run a series of workshops where you winter sow, you collect native plant seeds, you winter sow them, you up pot them, and then people swap them so you don't have a tray of just one species. And then everyone plants them in their gardens. I host plant swaps, and people always bring their extras because there's just an extra, there's a generous amount of native plants for all. It's really been a wonderful, wonderful program. So like these sorts of things where you're creating community, not just everyone's going home by themselves and putting jugs of seeds on their driveway. No, they have a workshop where you do it together. It's great. I love it. And then, people host at their own gardens at rain garden pop-up tours, which that's lovely. Rob told me not to have it this way, but here we are. Okay. All right. So, specifically, here are some things that I do that you may not have thought of. Like, for instance, I try to find the positive. Like, I visit a lot of people's gardens. Maybe I see something like this. And when you look carefully, like, these are not native plants. None of these are native plants. There's some gray areas really here, but obviously someone has spent a lot of time and thought and love on this garden. And I'm not going to criticize them for that. I'm not going to be like, well, nothing's, native, rah, rah, rah. No, I'm going to say, oh my gosh, is that black-eyed Susan? Do you see butterflies and birds on that? Like, that's wonderful that you planted a native plant. And then they're going to be so proud. Why, yes, I do plant native plants. And I'm so glad because I've seen, butterflies and things like that. And I'm like, oh, good for you. Nice work. Because then the next time they go to the nursery, they're going to say, wait, I'm the kind of person that buys native plants. I'm going to buy one because they've already started down that road. They're already like one of us, basically, is what you're saying. Seth Godin is a marketing guru. People like us do things like this is so powerful, so powerful. And by giving people credit for the tiny little thing they've already done, it propels them on this path. Just like the star-bellied peaches. All right, there's a reason why there's a picture of a lot of laundry on a couch in my presentation. And it's the same idea. That's an idea of momentum. In my family, my husband does the laundry and I'm responsible for folding. And usually he does it all at the same time. So I unexpectedly will come upon the couch and then there's like a huge, massive pile of laundry. And if I said, oh my gosh, this is going to take me 2 hours, I better wait until I have 2 hours to do this, it would never get done. But what I do is I say, I'm just going to fold that black towel. And I fold it and I'm like, that was so easy. I'm going to fold all the towels. And then all the towels are folded. And then maybe a little later, I'll be like, oh, I'm just going to fold that one red shirt. And then I'm by the end, I just do the whole thing. Same thing happens with native plants, where you just one tiny little thing, and then you gain momentum, and then suddenly, your yard is full of natives. Same thing with this garden. Help people be like, oh, welcome to the path. You're already here. And it helps them keep going. Because we're really like, when you think about it, we're still in the innovators. This is the research by Everett Rogers, the diffusion of innovation. So like new ideas, how do they get adopted? First, the innovators have to try it. And I mean, maybe we're to the early adopters, maybe, but we're really still an innovator, maybe early adopters. We might be early adopters at this point. So we have to like work with those people. And it is my recommendation that you work with people that are more open to it, like the innovators, the early adopters. Don't waste your time on the laggards because people, like I was talking about before, people, it may not be a good moment for them to be building a rain garden. They might have good reasons, or they might just be stuck in their ways, for whatever reason. Like, okay, if this is your house, you're like, I have native plants. This is great. It's wonderful. I have a rain garden. And you talk to your neighbors and you're like, the person next to you is kind of open to it. They might be into it. But your other neighbors are like, nope, not gonna happen. But I would, and then maybe a few people are lukewarm. Just start with that person who's really enthusiastic because maybe they like gardening anyway and they just retired, so they have a bunch of free time. That's where you start. Don't start with the people who are like, no, I have other things on my plate and I'm not that interested. Don't start with those people. Because later there will be like momentum that happens because 4 people on the block are doing it. Other people be like, oh, I could do that. Wait, could you tell me how to do that? I have this problem actually I wanted to solve. It will drag those people along and it will all happen. Also, I just want to point out that the laggards are still your friends. They're still nice people. They just might have something else going on in their lives. Or, maybe they just are really into their lawn because they need something they can control. Like, you don't know. People are fighting their own fights and having their own experiences in life. So, give people some understanding and grace. I keep showing Barb because she's just doing such a great job of being an ambassador out in the world. All right. So that's really all I have to say, which is enjoy the process, make friends, and look for that spark. Those things that make it easy and fun. You might feel a little guilty for like emphasizing those things. Like, no, this should be work. No, those are the things that make it fun. Those are the things that grow the program. So don't feel guilty. It'll be fine. All right, so way back at the beginning, I mentioned that I want to hear anecdotes. I want to hear like what has been really effective in creating change. Could be environmental stuff. It could not be environmental stuff. I want to hear all those things. And also I can answer questions.
Love it. Yeah, I would. Thank you so much, first of all, Susan, for a wonderful presentation. That was awesome. Lots of great stuff to think about there. So we do have a few questions in the chat. I also have a few that I've set up on the side. And then, as Susan said, I think the chat might be a great way for folks to share short anecdotes or ideas that they want to share about the experience of doing rain gardens, either your own or encouraging other folks to do theirs. And if for non-questions, go ahead and use the chat and continue to use the Q&A function for any questions. So forgive me as I get over to the notes I was taking.
While you look, Rick Simic mentions that the Wild Ones of Wayne County does seed swaps and uppotting. I'm so glad to know that because people in Wayne County often contact me and I'm like, who do I send them to? The Wild Ones of Wayne County. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
That is great. And on a related note, there was a question from Katie that is, I'm curious if there are any known rain garden folks or resources supporting Lenawee County.
Lenawee. I should look because they're not part of my teaching coalition. But if you know someone who works at the county, who wants to help co-teach, we have such nice partners and we've divided up the work so nicely that it's not that much work actually. So if they wanted to join it, then we could totally do that. And that would be great. If you know a potential person who works at the Lenawee County Drain Commissioner, especially, or anywhere,
Yeah.
We'd
And
love
we
to
have
have it.
Julie chiming in as well. Thank you so much. One of our co-coordinators of the Grand Raisin Conservation Community, which serves part of Lenawee, and was saying the River Raisin Watershed Council, as well as Dr. Carly Kratz, is a great person to get in touch with. So
Yeah, yep. Lydia Lopez over there at the River Raisin Watershed Council is one of the co-teachers, and she's fantastic. She does a lot of things. She works with high school students doing this too.
love it. Transitioning to a few questions, then I want to get back to some of these anecdotes, if that's okay. So when you are talking to people about these rain gardens, and this
Yeah.
could be something that you answer, but also maybe other people have ideas too. What are the biggest reasons why you're telling them that they should be doing it, right? Just on a general,
Mm,
basis, because
yeah.
sometimes that can be the community centered side of things, sometimes it can be the ecologic side of things. It could be the way the water is managed within the property. It could be how the managed is watered, citywide more. So just curious how you
Yeah.
talk to kind of first time folks about the value proposition.
Um, so people build rain gardens one of three reasons. One is they want to do something good for lakes and streams in their community, and they've heard that this is a way to do it. So they're ecologically motivated. The second reason is because they're getting water in their basement or they have some other flooding issue, like it's a just soggy spot of their yard that they're tired of trying to mow, that sort of thing. That's the second reason. And then the third reason, one person contacted me and she's like, I moved to Ann Arbor and I hear that that's just what I'm supposed to do. So there's that. And do you remember the bell curve of the diffusion of innovation?
Mm-hmm.
Those like even mid-level, any of those mid-level adopters, they do it because of the third reason. So like that's why having all these like side of pilot projects makes it more acceptable. And so it's really that third reason. Um, that's it. I mean, there's so many places you could put a rain garden. That's not the limiting factor. The limiting factor is, does someone want it? And do they have
Mm-hmm.
time? Do they have time to
Yeah,
do it?
right, right. And
Yeah.
identifying the like you said, some of those situations where a rain garden is a solution to problems that they're having, right?
Yeah.
That's also a part of it. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And when the University of Michigan School of Information did a data dive on, okay, what did people say their issue was at the beginning? And then end game, who actually built a rain garden? That
mm,
the number one was they had a problem in their yard they were trying to solve.
yes,
So
right.
that was interesting that it wasn't actually the, clean rivers and lakes reason. That's not the reason that
Mm-hmm,
motivated
mm-hmm.
them. They're like, I got a problem, I got to fix it. I'm on it.
Yeah, and I think there are a fair amount of people out there, like you said, that are looking at a more practical lens, right? They're not necessarily capital E environmentalists there, but they understand the benefits, the co-benefits of that.
Yeah.
Last one for me, then I want to jump back into some of the stuff because we got more in the Q&A. In is the social marketing aspect integrated into the master rain gardener kind of training? I was curious about how those things go hand in hand because obviously there's a technical side of how to plan for rain gardens and stuff like that. But I was curious more about that.
I don't necessarily talk about that part in the Master Rain Gardener class. I have tried and people are not interested.
Okay. Mhm.
I mean they're like, I'm just trying to do this thing, you know. Yeah, they're
Right.
focused on
So
the practical.
yeah, they're mainly I want to learn how to do it so I can build my own, and they're
Yeah.
less about the whole like spreading. But then yeah, I just out of curiosity because it does seem like some of these folks are putting these ideas into practice. The ones that are really spreading the word in their communities are putting the
Hmm.
things into practice, regardless of how they receive that training, if at all. Right. Some of it is very intuitive in terms of how you talk to your neighbors about things or how you lead by example, and so just
Yeah.
curious about how and if that might ever be a thing, right? To have give folks that are learning about it the tools to share, that information with other people if they were interested. So,
Right. I think people bring their own superpowers to the party where, I mean, like I give them a t-shirt and a sign if they want a sign, they don't have to take it. And so then people come to them and then they deploy whatever, skills they have. And some people have amazing skills, like Yeah, I mean, like I'm always impressed with what people bring to the party more than me. Like they know how to like talk to their neighbors. They know the culture of their neighborhood. They know, um, or even if they're just a big curmudgeon about it, like who cares? People walk by the sign and they Google it. That's
Hmm.
doesn't much matter.
Right, right. No, that's great. Thank you. So now getting into some of the specifics questions. There's one that says, does the water completely drain out of the rain garden after the rain, or is there any danger of it supporting things like mosquito larvae if it is built wrong?
The idea behind a rain garden is it completely soaks in. So right now, all the rain gardens are dry. I mean, moist, but they're dry. The plants soak up that water, and then also they create holes in the soil, and so the water soaks in. That's what makes it the gold standard of stormwater management. Is it's taking that water and filtering it through the soil, which cleans it and it replenishes our groundwater instead of washing pollution straight into our rivers and lakes. So the
Hmm.
idea is it soaks down within 24 hours, or like if it's a really clay rain garden within 48 hours, something like that. I gave a presentation to the Mosquito Control Association, and I was like, "Here's a rain garden. Okay, great. Tell me about mosquitoes." And they told me all about the life cycle of a mosquito. A mosquito needs 7 days. So if you have a puddle that lasts 7 days, you have hatched mosquitoes. Rain gardens don't do that. But what they do is they have some water that's sitting there, and the mosquitoes put their larvae in there, and then the rain garden drains down, and all those larvae die. So it's really like a sink for a
Yeah,
mosquito. Yeah.
that makes sense. Thank you. Another kind of technical question. So when creating the rain garden map, did you use the GIS mapping for that? And how do you keep that updated?
Yeah, it is. It's uh 1, 2, 3. It's a form that people can fill out. Often they just email me and then I fill it out for them, but it can be crowdsourced. Be great if they did it themselves, but it doesn't take that long if I do it. So and that's been a game changer. I just want to shout out to Matthew Bertrand. At the time at Friends of the Rouge, now he's with the county, who made me do that, made me create that map. And I'm so happy. And Chelsea Rozek here at the county. Um, it has been wonderful because I can, if we need a tour in one area or, something like that, I can see like who built a rain garden there and I can see it's great. It's really wonderful. Also, if you're putting your rain garden in there and you don't want it to be publicly shown, there's an option for that. So you can be on the down low if you want to.
Mhm. Very nice. So a question, a little bit of a side, or how do you say, curveball question. Have you had to discourage people from building a rain garden due to inappropriate location? I was called in to fix a rain garden that was a downspout into a solid concrete basin.
That's not a rain garden.
Hmm.
Um, in all of my time here, thousands of locations, there's only been like two where I'm like, you got no place to put a rain garden. There's always a place to put a rain garden. I mean, mostly. Um, that said, maybe I should have spent a little more time on rain gardens themselves. Go to the links and read the handbook, just, so you see what it is. But it, and share those with your friends. Like if the correct way to build a rain garden is more widely known, then we won't get, bad examples of like too deep. That used to be, 20 years ago, we hadn't really refined the best ways to build a rain garden. And so people were digging holes like 2 feet deep. That's way too deep. Nothing's going to grow. It's just too like flashy for plants to grow. It's not going to be pretty. I mean, it'll work, but it's not going to be pretty. So, or like it's different than a pond. Like a pond, you would make it so that it doesn't soak in, but that's an entirely different thing.
Yeah, no,
I
that
do
makes
feel
sense.
like when I visit people that what we're doing is we're saying, what's an appropriate place to put this rain garden? Here are three options. Which one is your favorite?
Absolutely. Another question, so related to money is tight and I need to mulch my garden I built this spring. What mulch do you recommend that is dye free but cost effective and works well, if you know any specifics on that?
You should use Chip Drop where it's free. Chip Drop is a website. You can go on there and say, I want chips. You tell them exactly where to drop it. And then you have no control of when they drop it off. And they're going to drop off a lot of wood chips, a lot. You should, get your neighbors to share with you or something. But then they drop it off and it's free. And any organic material can be mulch. It can be wood chips. It could be leaves. It could be sawdust. Whatever you have around can be good mulch. So keep that in mind. Pine needles, whatever you got.
I
That's
have
just
never,
organic material.
yeah, I have never heard of chip drop, but there's a lot of chip drop love coming in the chat right now. So that is very
Chip
cool.
drop. I
Yeah,
have a slide. I should have put it in here. How to make this rain garden free. Number one is plant swaps. Number two,
yeah,
seeds to community. All these things are free. Number
yeah,
three, chip drop. Number four, compost from your municipality is usually free if you dig it yourself. Sometimes they'll charge you if they put it into your pickup truck. But better than a pickup truck is you can rent a pickup truck or you can rent a trailer. That's a more cheaper and better for, getting compost and mulch. So if you
hmm
get compost and mulch, you can usually get from the municipality for a very low fee. And if you rent a trailer, that's very cost effective.
yeah. Great, thank you. I also just wanted to acknowledge all of the great stories that we're getting in the chat. Thank you so much. Lots of great anecdotes about how folks are engaging with this work and even with other types of social marketing and behavior change work. So thank you for sharing, and I hope you all are enjoying reading those in the chat. Maybe
I
just
see Danny said something about like celebrating little changes.
yes.
That is
hmm
good. Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. And I've gone through the similar thing, the whole trying to convince folks to do those environmentally friendly things that they don't normally do, and especially family members that can get sticky, but it's good to just kind of read the room and see how leverage
Yeah.
aspects of the relationship that are going to make it make sense, right? You got to really tailor your approach to who you're talking to in a lot of ways. And I think that goes for any of these things we're talking about, behavior change related.
Yeah, Katie has like looking through the lens of beauty or civic responsibility. Like, ooh, those cut across all kinds of opinions. Like, yeah, finding out what are their values and then emphasizing them.
Totally,
Yep.
totally. So
Ooh, and
one
that
more.
honest lived space, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, yeah.
So the last one is, can you talk a bit about opportunities for others who may want to partner and bring this amazing program to their local area? Are there opportunities to do that?
Yeah, like all those folks across the Midwest, I trained their staff to offer the Master Rain Gardener class, and we get together in a Zoom meeting once a year and, trade any new things that we thought of or, best practices, things like that. So if you're interested in having your organization, if you're in the metro area, you should just join us and we already teach it together and you should just join our group. But if you're out of state or, farther away, then I can train staff to offer the Master Rain Gardener class. I do need to be reimbursed because we're supported by local tax dollars, and so we have to spend them locally. But it's just like cost share kind of a thing.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, with that, I think we're going to move on to the outro of the presentation. But thank you so much, Susan, and thank you to everybody that was a part of this very wonderful Q&A that we had. There was a lot of interest, great questions, and hopefully a lot of follow-up. So you'll be able to reach out to Susan and other folks that attended today. So please be sure to do that. Let me now replace the current share. Right, and hopefully you are seeing my stuff. And now we would like to invite you all to become a regular for these webcasts. Again, it's the second Wednesday of the month in the Eastern Time Zone's noon hour. We'll send you a morning reminder by email on the day of the webcast. And you can learn more about all of our webcasts, visit the archives, and register for future ones at stewardshipnetwork.org/webcast. So for August, next month, we have Stewardship Starts with Community, Insights from Parks, Policy, and Nonprofits. That's with Rebecca Stanfield McCown, YMCA Alliance of Northern New England, formerly the National Park Services Stewardship Institute. In September 2026, we have freshwater mussel monitoring and relocation ahead of the Peninsular Dam removal. That's with Paul Steen of the Huron River Watershed Council. And in October 2026, we have How Community-Led Stewardship Works, a Toronto model. And that's with Anna Mang, Toronto Nature Stewards. And shout out to Toronto Nature Stewards for being a part of our Spring Challenge this year for the first time. We're really excited to have you all at that webcast. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you for joining us. We really, really appreciate it and hope to see you next month. Take care.